Welcome back. In this video, we'll closely examine the Yeedi Cube. Yeedi's first with pad washing and self-emptying features. This do-it-all robot vacuum has one of the most compact base stations I've tested, and it's called the Cube because, well, it looks like one. See the resemblance? Another selling point of this model is its price. Yeedi says it will fall within the mid-level range, closer to other brands with only one function, but not both. While other brands have decreased their prices, the Yeedi Cube is the cheapest one I've tested so far. But as with any cheaper model, there will be compromises, and we'll see if this should dissuade you from considering this product. I've tested this robot extensively to see how well it performs in the real world. There's a lot to unpack, so let's get into it. As I've said in the intro, the Yeedi Cube is a compact base station, smaller than any do-it-all robot vacuum I've tested. It's slightly smaller than the Roborock S8 Pro Ultra and is dwarfed by the massive Q-Revo base station, which roughly has the same dimensions as other brands like the Dreamy L10S and Ecovacs T20. But there will be volume restrictions from the downsized base station. Unlike other options with the clean and dirty water tanks inside a base station, the Yeedi Cube only has a dirty water container and a bag beside it. The dirty water tank has a reduced volume of 1.2 liters, significantly less than other brands with capacities up to 5 liters. The clean water tank is relocated to the robot, and Yeedi calls it a UFO water tank since it looks like one. Like the dirty water container, the clean water tank only has a capacity of 1 liter, so you'll have to refill it often. The Yeedi Cube retains the round, puck-shaped form found in its older models, but this one is around 4 inches tall because of the additional space needed for the water tank on top. Other features include a rear-mounted dustbin with a port behind it connecting to the slot inside the base station for the self-emptying cycle. Underneath, it has a 2-side brush system and a combo brush, giving it better reach on both sides, but its fast-spinning nature tends to scatter debris. Behind it is a non-detachable mopping module with a vibrating element for scrubbing off stains. Yeedi calls it sonic mopping and vibrates 2,500 times per minute with an 8mm lift to help it avoid touching the surfaces of carpets or rugs. In front, you'll see an IR sensor, enabling this robot to evade obstacles. Unlike the Vac 2 Pro, the Yeedi Cube doesn't have any laser sensors aiding the IR sensor, which has its downsides I'll share later in the video. Like all Yeedi smart robot vacuums, this robot uses V-SLAM, which uses a top-mounted camera and an optical sensor underneath for tracking location. It runs like any other smart robot vacuum in a straight back-and-forth pattern. Containment is available via no-go and no-mop zones, blocking the robot from entering rectangular or square zones. The second feature is redundant in my opinion, since this robot already has a pad lift feature. Also, the app provides the option for consumers to avoid carpets, so I don't think this feature is needed. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the invisible wall feature, so it cannot block diagonal areas. The biggest selling point of the Yeedi Cube is its lower price point. It is by far the least expensive option I've tested with pad washing and self-emptying features. Consumers who don't want to spend a premium for a do-it-all robot vacuum may want to consider this option. The next thing I like is the compact base station. Most options with a hybrid functionality have base stations that takes up lots of vertical space. Here's a size comparison between the Yeedi Cube and Roborock Q-Revo. You'll see how the Q-Revo base station towers over it, and this represents what the current batch of robot vacuums with dual-function base stations offer. And here's a size comparison between the Yeedi Cube and S7 Max V Ultra. It's much closer, but the Yeedi Cube is still shorter. Yeedi uses a ribbed component for scrubbing the pad. It's a similar concept to other brands like Dreamy, but one difference is Yeedi's version moves from side to side. So it combines the concepts of the Roborock S8 Pro Ultra and Q-Revo, making it highly efficient at cleaning the microfiber pad. Here's a close-up of it after several mopping and pad washing cycles. Since it's made from high-quality plastic, I don't see this rib piece wearing out during the robot's lifetime, so it's one less thing to worry about. Also, the pad was dry several hours after the mopping cycle, bringing me to the next feature I like, which is the hot drying cycle. Yeedi says that it blows hot air at 104 degrees Fahrenheit. The app also provides consumers the option to select the duration. This model uses a one-piece tray that acts as a ramp that the robot climbs over when docking and a catch basin for dirty residue during the pad washing cycle. The one-piece design makes cleaning easier since there's nothing to disassemble. The benefit of the hot drying cycle extends to the tray, which was almost dry except for this trickle of water. Despite the low airflow, this robot was decent at vacuuming hard floors, evidenced by the high sand pickup at 99.6%. It was over 97% with other debris, which is again decent for something that has low airflow. With its V-SLAM algorithm, navigation is quite efficient, completing the first run in around 10 minutes, and the second run adds up to around 18 minutes. Carpet cleaning performance is sufficient, getting a 95% average. But this robot struggles with heavier debris like pet litter or large quantities of dirt since the dustbin is quite small. The self-emptying system was great at emptying debris from the container, getting almost everything out of a nearly full bin. One unique feature I don't see in other brands is this rubber handle on the robot, so it's easy to move from one floor to another. The robot doesn't need a base station close by to function. Drop it anywhere and it will function regardless, since the clean water tank is on the robot. While the vibrating element and the mopping pad makes this robot efficient at mopping stains, it struggles with sticky residue. I tested it on grape and prune juice stains. Initially, it removed the stains, but eventually stalled and couldn't climb over the base station ramp. One unfortunate casualty of the downsized base station is the smaller water tanks. The 1-liter in-robot clean water tank and a 1.2-liter dirty water tank on the base station. The smaller capacity means more frequent refills and dumping of dirty water. Also, using the UFO-shaped water tank on the robot adds to its height, a towering 4 inches, so it will not fit under this sofa. The lack of airflow hampers its deep cleaning performance, only getting a 66.55% score, which is below average. This limitation trickles to its edge cleaning performance, where it seemed to pick up everything, only to regurgitate it out on the base station. Another thing I noticed during the cleaning cycles is it doesn't have tight overlaps, meaning it can miss spots, which isn't a big deal since you can run the robot a second time to clean these areas. The lack of airflow and fast spinning side brushes make it less efficient at debris pickup since it tends to scatter them around. It wasn't good in the hair wrap experiment where it got a below average score in both tests, with most of the hair wrapping on the brush roll and axles. Despite the low airflow, the Yeedi Cube is noisy, reaching the 70 decibel mark in the max setting. Warning. And the base station is even louder at over 75 decibels. The mop lift feature should be enough to avoid carpets in theory, but the 8mm lift isn't high enough since it touched the surface of my rugs during experiments. Also, the mopping bracket can touch the rug's edges and pull it inward like this, so it's not a foolproof design. A better way would be turning on the avoid carpet feature on the app so the robot avoids it completely. The obstacle avoidance is effective to an extent, but the algorithm is lacking in that it lets the robot get too close. So high-risk objects like wires or pet feces will touch the robot or the side brush. There were instances where the robot avoided these, but the risk of wires tangling or pet feces staining the robot is high. Also, the lack of a laser sensor hampers its ability to identify obstacles, so it cannot avoid this weighing scale, even if it's large enough to be detected. Lastly is the app limitations. One thing I like about the Yeedi app is it has a live map feature, which most V-SLAM robots don't have, but it can only save one map at a time. A backup feature is available, but the problem is you can only save one. So if you're backing up a second map, it will overwrite the first backup, which defeats the purpose. Since it doesn't have LiDAR, it lacks a mapping run, a huge limitation for V-SLAM robots since it can't scan its surroundings in a 360-degree pattern like a laser can. Another quirk of the app is when you press this button, it goes back to the main interface, not the previous window, which is a negative for app usability, at least for me. Besides these issues, it has enough features for daily cleaning tasks, including Alexa compatibility. Overall, the Yeedi Cube is a decent performing robot vacuum, but with limitations in cleaning performance, capacity, and mopping. I wouldn't recommend this for mopping large spaces due to its smaller water tank capacity, and avoid using it on anything sticky because it may stall. While decent, it's not something I'd recommend inside homes with lots of carpets, since it lacks airflow. It's a similar issue with other cheaper priced robot vacuum options, so it's a compromise you should be willing to make if you're on a budget. The self-emptying and pad washing performance is excellent and up to par with more expensive options. Nonetheless, the Yeedi Cube's more affordable price offers a cheaper alternative for consumers looking for a do-it-all robot vacuum. What do you think about this robot vacuum? Would you consider it? Let me know in the comments section below. Like and subscribe if this video has been helpful.